Do you need to work differently at different phases of a startup? Meaning that you need to work as hard in the beginning as after 1 year, 2 years and 3 years or whatever. That's an interesting discussion and interesting topic, so that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you like this topic. So it goes without saying that when we have a startup, when we are starting a new business, then we are going to be investing a significant amount of our time and effort in building it. And usually the biggest effort is in the beginning. It's like just pushing this car when it's in a neutral phase. I mean, the biggest boost is required in the beginning, and once you get the car actually moving, then it's easier to just keep it in motion and get it moving. So it's the same kind of applies for startups. So the biggest effort is definitely usually in when you're starting out, because at that point there's just high amount of uncertainty, and at that point we really don't know that, well, is this going to work out or not, and we don't exactly know that what are we supposed to do. So this means that in the beginning you can just forget about any 4-hour work weeks or whatever. I mean, no way. I mean, that on the opposite, like, we should basically do work as much on the business as possible. So that means that working early mornings, late evenings and full days and whatever, so that our life is pretty much like surrounded around the business and not the other way around. And of course, I mean, this is really challenging, especially when you have families and when you have like children and so on. So I remember, like, when I started like my first business, I mean, I had just gotten a baby, so I mean that was pretty much the worst time to start a business. So this meant that, I mean, I couldn't just work on the business alone, because I mean, it wouldn't be really do good for my family, right? So I had to put a lot of effort into family time as well. So of course, like, different people are at different stages of their life, but I was in this situation where I couldn't really jeopardize my family time. So this meant that I had to work extra hard in early mornings and late evenings. So yeah, I mean, this was the first years pretty much for me. So I was pretty much working every single day, and whenever I was taking the baby and dog out for a walk, I mean, I was listening to audiobooks. I was studying all the time, like trying to learn new things. So I was pretty much working like every single day. But eventually, I mean nobody can really work like that for years and years to come without really burning out. I mean, I don't care if you're Elon Musk. Like, Elon Musk praises himself for working whatever, like 80 or 100 hour weeks and sleeping at the factory or whatever, but I mean, even Elon Musk cannot work like this, because I mean, he has repeatedly experienced burnout. So if you are working like crazy for like months and years to come, then you're going to be burnout. So that's just evident. That's just something that is going to happen. And the bad side of this, one bad side effect, I mean, not just only the burnout, but I mean, it will take you just weeks and months and maybe even just years to recover from this excessive working. So at certain points, we need to start adding balance to our work. So this is pretty much the next stage of the startup. So, and usually on this stage we have already hired people, so we already have people working for us. So that means that we are able to delegate our things to them. So we are able to clean up our table. So the business is not only relying on us, but the business can also the business has other people working for it as well. So that also gives us more time, and it allows us to have more of a like healthy work-life balance. So at this second stage, we have to come up with sustainable pace. And what is sustainable pace? I mean, that depends I mean, that's very subjective, so that depends on every single person. So what's sustainable pace for me might not be for someone else, or vice versa. So that's for pretty much for everyone to figure out for themselves that, okay, what is sustainable pace for me? But the definition of a sustainable pace means that you can work in such a manner for years and years to come without ever first of all burning out, and without ever really needing extra period of like taking out. So you don't need any kind of like excessive recovery time. So that means that sustainable base means that being able to work on this same pace for pretty much like years to come. So at this second phase we are still pretty much working every day, but the bonus is that it's a sustainable base, and we have employees, we have people working for us, so that the business is not really relying only on us. Then comes the third stage, when we have finally gotten good amount of traction and the business is running and it's not really dependent on us anymore. Then that's pretty much the time that we can move over to more of a like advisor role. So we don't need to be there every single day. We don't need to be there pretty much like every single week. I mean, we are there as needed, and we are there to do these like annual planning and quarterly planning, just to check up on things that pretty much everything is going as planned without our presence. But what I've actually noticed from many startups, because I meet a lot of business owners, and I see a lot of startups and different kind of businesses, and I actually noticed that most people never reach this third stage. So the businesses, they pretty much get stuck on the second stage, where the business needs them. I mean, they need to be there pretty much every single day. I mean, fine, it's sustainable base, and if you like working, then I mean, why not? But eventually, what I recommend is that really like elevating yourself in moving into this third stage, because then it will open a completely new world for you. Because as you're just pretty much like advisor to your own business, then at that stage you can start looking into different kind of business opportunities and whatnot. So I definitely recommend in at least targeting in getting to this advisor role for your own business as quickly as possible. But the thing is that if you're starting a new business, like funny thing is that I just had like was approached to start a new business venture, and we were discussing it. I mean, we don't need to be as involved in the beginning, because I mean we are starting with a team, and we are building a team and those kind of things. And I was like giving kind of reality check, like, come on, like if we are starting a new business, then I mean if it's a new business with a lot of uncertainty and those kind of things, then we are going to be following these same stages. So that means that there's no way possible that with a new business we can immediately move into this third stage. I mean, even if we have established teams and already and that kind of stuff, because usually, I mean, what we do is that we tend to have nice plans and beautiful plans, and that's good. I mean, it's good to do planning and good to have plans, but as Mike Tyson said, that like everyone has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. So usually, I mean, life happens, we have plans and life happens and things are not going as expected. So that means that in this first phase we are pretty much working like giving endless amount of hours. So that's why I'm really cautious on like taking on new business ventures, and I don't believe those kind of fantasies that yeah let's start a new business and we don't need to be so involved, because it's not true. And I know that what's usually going to happen is that there's gonna be this kind of surprise and that kind of surprise, and boom, we find ourselves working on this first stage, pretty much working every single day and giving our full effort and full attention. But yeah, that's pretty much how I define these 3 stages of working methods for startup companies. So let me know what you think. and hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you like this video. And by the way, I also have this secret group where we're discussing different kind of working methods and different pretty much everything related to running a global online business. So if you want to be part of it, then just comment group and we will be sure to add you there. My team will be reaching out to you. So see you on the group.